Hello and welcome to Best Laid Plans. Today we are doing some scripture journaling in the Book of Mormon for 1 Nephi chapter 16 through 22.
Hi, I'm Janae and I teach productivity that sticks. If you're interested in planning your perfect life, be sure to subscribe so you don't miss a thing.
This coincides with the Come Follow Me curriculum for the Book of Mormon from January 26th to February 1st, 2020. As you can see, I have 3 sheets here. I have 2 on the transparent paper. This is sticker paper. And then 1 on white sticker paper with all of our titles. This is a long lesson, 16 pages long. So we have a lot of page titles and not a whole lot of stickers. So we will see about how we can distribute these. Let's start with my page flags, as always. It's easier for me to turn the book. Again, these are on transparent paper. You can use these as is onto the flags. You can use them elsewhere for journaling, or you can just not use them at all and write in your own title. Doesn't matter. But they should be in order. Oh, except for these top 3. You have to go across and then in order all the way down. These are for something else. But let's see if we can get these in the right order. This one is where Lehi gets the Liahona. I pick the titles of the page and a lot of the imagery for the stickers based on what I think is going to trigger the memory of what these particular passages were. And Ishmael dies. Alright. Okay, so those 3 across, the rest of them all the way down. Just because I needed to fit as much as I could on this page. This paper is very expensive and I don't like to use like a vellum, which is more of that kind of a plasticky stuff that's available here in the States. I needed more of an actual paper, and let me see if I can demonstrate this. See how it rips. It's definitely just paper that you can see through. It's like tracing paper, but sticky on the back. I found these were perfect for these. I was questioning it at first because it's not removable like washi tape is, how it comes off of paper. But then I started thinking about it, and we really don't want the removable type in the scriptures because they tend to come up over time. And that's not what you want. You want this to stay. You don't want all these stickers peeling up after a while. You just have to be real careful when you put them down. These are very sticky. You get a little bit. I mean, you can pull them up right away. Okay, the Liahona, that was an extra one for another title flag. Again, we're going straight down. We don't have another one on Liahona. So anyway, that's why I went ahead and decided to go with these. You get a very short window. I mean, if I'm pushing it down here, it's probably not a good idea that I pull it up. But with the white stickers, if you try to pull them up soon after, but not very quickly, just very slowly, you should be all right. These, not as easy to pull up. So far, if they stick, I kind of just leave them where they go. But I really like the transparency of them, the quality of the paper, and of the glue. So we're going to go ahead and stick with them. As you can see, this is a letter size here with the white, and then the transparent paper's on an A4, which is the more popular sized paper in the UK. I think that's what makes for very nice scripture stickers. Okay. Nephi quotes Isaiah, and you could use this for all of these if you wanted, but I wanted to have more of what it really was about. I've always had, you get to Isaiah and then it's a bit of a yawn sometimes. I'm trying to get through it because of just the way Isaiah writes. But, he lays it down. He says some serious stuff. If you do this, and if you're this kind of a person, then this is what's going to happen. And he's pretty harsh with some of the names he calls people. I mean, it's actually it gets quite interesting. But I wanted to put more of the subject because I saw a quote by Henry B. Eyring that said Nephi didn't feel that he had to translate. He felt like he just needed to write these passages exactly as Isaiah had written them because he thought that they were plain enough. But they're not just plain. A lot of this is a bit harsh, examining your attitudes about things. But here he's going over the history of how the Gentiles are given the gospel and grafted back into the seed of Jacob, or is the house of Israel. And then Nephi adds on to his own thing and teaches. So I was really careful in trying to title these of what would help me remember what was in these pages. Okay, so we are left with some headers, and I'll show you what I'm going to do with those later, like my promised land. This will not be in the final release. I've ended up with a shadow along the side, but this paper is very precious, and this is just my scriptures. So although it's kind of cheesy to film with not perfect quality, I'm not as worried about it in my scriptures. You, however, will never receive anything like this, so no worries. Next, I've got my larger stickers that I'd like to put down. We've got Liahona, we've got the bow. I know I said I wasn't going to do any more plates. They kept getting smaller and smaller and smaller, but this really needed a big plates. I can't help it. I don't know if we're going to have any more plates. I'm through promising that I'm going to be done with making plates, but I don't remember them coming up a whole lot for a little while anyway, so we'll see. This is Liahona. Now I've got a big Liahona and a little Liahona, but we're going to put the big Liahona right on top of where he talks about it. I'm not going to put it in the center of the page. I'm just going to put it right on top of that. Okay. We still have the fruit over here. My daughter thought it was cute. She says, I've noticed that you've got like a piece of fruit every time Nephi talks about the fruit of the tree. And I said, yes, that was kind of by design. Kind of on purpose. Okay. So, I put this because I have a little quote about the Liahona, and now I'm not really sure. Well, we'll see. Maybe we'll just stick it on a different page. It doesn't have to be right there. And this was the bow. Now, I made this wider in the sticker just to make it where it didn't rip so easy. And yes, this is a representation of a steel bow and not a wooden bow. And it is in one piece, but I don't know, I thought it would make a nicer graphic. One of my favorite stories, where Nephi breaks his bow, and while everybody's complaining and focusing on the problem, we're hungry, we don't have a way to hunt, Nephi focuses on the solution. Okay, the solution is we need a way to hunt. Why don't I just make a new bow? Their family was relatively wealthy, and that may be why Nephi had this nice steel bow. You got to figure that this was a nice piece of equipment that he had, and to have lost that was quite a blow. I think. But that does not mean that lesser tools will not work. So what goes on this side? This is where he's commanded to build a ship, but I think I'm going to put where he actually builds the ship. He made tools here, and he was about to build the ship when big old argument happens, and he's talking to Laman and Lemuel saying, yo, all of this. So, I mean, it's like 3 pages. Okay, now this is where he actually builds the ship in these couple of verses. So I'm going to put that here. And I put a ship under construction here. I kind of like that idea better because that was more of the process of why this whole argument took place rather than the built ship. Okay, and then this is where he was bound. I was going to put some rope here. Totally forgot the rope. All right, well, you know what? I think we're going to go back and I'm going to put the rope on this sheet. It's not going to show up here, but I'm going to put that on this sheet before I release it. Okay, and the promised land. He also talks about the plates on this page, but plates are a rather big sticker and I want to share the bigness. There we are, promised land.
Yay!
Remember, these can be trimmed down really easily to fit in your scriptures. This also should fit right over the text. That's what these are made for. Okay, and then he talks more about the plates here, a little bit about making them here, but what he's using them, or the different sets of plates are here. I'm gonna figure this stuff was important. Engraving on metal plates was not
An easy task.
not an easy process. So, okay. And a lot of this stuff, I didn't really have any pictures that I could think of to put on here. So I'm going to distribute flowers. That's right. And this is our vanilla rose theme still, but I put more of the vanilla flowers on this one. This will be the last lesson that uses this theme, because next lesson will be 2nd Nephi, and we'll be switching over to a new theme, and it will be more of a light pink theme. We've got our Liahona here. Nephi not only focused on the solution by building a bow, but he also consulted as to where he should go to hunt. So he wasn't ashamed to ask for help. I got this quote from Thomas S. Monson. This one really struck home, especially since they're talking about the gathering of Israel here, and I liked this quote about how your patriarchal blessing is like your personal Liahona. That gives that page a little something something. Okay, that one and that one. All right, let me see how many pages we have first. 10. Okay, so there's 10 pages that don't have anything on them. We'll still have plenty of flowers even when I replace a couple of these with the rope. All right, can't believe I forgot that. I actually went back and I'd actually forgotten the ship first. No, the bow. I'd forgotten to put the bow on there. This is like the best story, or at least my favorite story. So I had to go back and put the bow on and totally forgot about the rope. Well, I don't know what I was thinking. Remember, if you're highlighting your scriptures, that's another thing. It was important to me to keep this paper rather than the vellum, because you can highlight right over this and it will be just fine.
The very last chapter.
Very last page. Look, you got where you could put something down here too. So I'm going to put this here to leave this open. And that started with chapter 16. Just going to put it right up the top. We'll prepare the way before you. Now, I do have the Liahona as a header in case you wanted to write more about it. In the lesson manual, they talked about making a table. So if you want to leave this one for drawing something really nice, you can. I can't draw that well, which is kind of why I make stickers. What I did was I made these ribbons, and then we can put these on there to make the table. There were different challenges, and then the different responses. I'm going to put the challenges down the side. So the first challenge was the broken bow. Actually, it won't look too bad if I overlap them here. So yeah, you don't have to use the ribbons. And you can make this a table or just right wherever. Doesn't really matter. You don't even have to use my little ribbons. I just thought it might be fun. Let's see, there's 4 of them here. Of course, that doesn't mean that's the only challenges they faced, of course. But we have the broken bow. Death in the family. That's not easy. I figure that they were all intermarried by this time. And suffering.
Losing someone very close to you is
well, especially he was older and they had to go through all of this and it was not easy. Okay, and then he didn't even get to see the promised land, but he believed in it enough to take his whole family out. Alright, and then this last one along this edge. Building the ship, that caused a whole lot of turmoil. Like, what do you think you're going to do that for?
Why are you building a boat?
Well, they liked the place they were. It was really nice along the river, but then well, I'd say all of a sudden, but God said, no, you're not done. You've got to keep going. And then just family discord. All sorts of whining and complaining, and we talked about that in family study. How it starts with the murmuring, it starts with complaining, and then it starts getting into your heart, and then you start thinking, well, all of life is terrible and nothing is good, and then you start being grumpy and taking it out on everybody else, and then everybody's unhappy. Okay, what else have we got? I've got the Liahona Header, so I'm going to go ahead and put that down. Even a better idea would have been to put this up at the top. The Liahona there, but I did this with my Joseph Smith quote last week too, where I should have put the dove above the quote. Here I remembered to put the picture above the quote, but I forgot that I'd made a little header sticker. Okay, and then we have, of course, 2 headers if you have specific topics that you want to write about and have a nice little fancy header sticker to go with it. Said the only thing that this is missing is the rope that I will put in. So let's see what we have. We have the Liahona with the Liahona and our lesson title. There's the broken bow and a representation of the steel bow. Ishmael dies, and then our quote about the Liahona and our journaling title. Prompt, whatever it is. Flowers and our page titles. It's my ship under construction. It did turn out okay. Some more of our vanilla flowers and the promised land. And I liked the way the valley was with the blue sky and the clouds.
And the mountains in the distance.
But it's not bad for watercolor, Okay. More vanilla flowers. Whoops, we skipped one. Plates. I know, can't get away from the plates. And I just love this image, so here we have plates again.
Plates are going to be in the... Every week, we're going to do plates.
No. If I have to, I'll actually, just as a joke, I'll put like a little itty-bitty plates like right next to it. Because I've got space, I can put a little tiny one. I may just have to, just as a joke. So that way, if you've watched this video, if you've watched the first few weeks, you'll know what that little itty-bitty plates on the stickers mean. It's our inside joke. That I said that this would be the last time I put plates in the stickers. And then so this is totally optional, and then you can use the prompts, you can use these however you want, save the page for something else, but I thought this would be a nice place to write down some of the ideas of these things. Okay? So in fact, if you put challenge and then this over here, and then these 3 down in a row, and then you can put the challenge here in the middle. That would have worked too. But I think this turned out okay. So thank you so much for joining me, and I hope you had fun. I really enjoyed this time, and I will see you next time on Best Laid Plans. So what's our favorite part? I like this one. Had my finger over it and decided to put it down anyway. That was not a good idea.